Hey everyone. Well, I'm back with another fan here. This time I got a CEC vented spinner, or could be a Toastmaster. Now I have the switch cap off because I had to try a different capacitor value in it. So this is what the switch cap looks like. So if you can see, so it looks like a Toastmaster type spinner, but it could also be CEC. But I've seen a lot of these as a kid, both in the store displays and then even in a lot of like downtown type shops would have these installed. So here's low. Now I got this in Florida when I was visiting my parents in February. Now you may have seen the video of me putting in or showing off the Spirit of Saturn that I installed for them in their office study, and that day I went to Restored down there. Now when I first ran this, it seemed real slow, like really slow low. And also not a very fast high speed, and you got to think for a 36-inch fan that you need something faster to compensate for the small blades, just so that it actually moves some air. Just wasn't moving any air at all. So this may seem, so when I tried different capacitor values other than the 4 that was in there, I tried another 4 that did the same thing as. So the capacitor is good, it just may not be the right value. And it's also a transformer-based choke control for the 3-speed pull chain, so really don't get the best range of speeds. It's either a slow high speed and a really slow low, or a high speed that seems like it should be on this fan, but then it's a rather fast low speed. So I would think for this small of a fan that you'd want a faster low to compensate, kind of like my designer there has a rather fast low for being a 42-inch fan. So let's see, what's it drawing? 0.35, 20 watts, power factor of half. Here is here's medium. So right now I don't have an actual, I determined to use a 6 in this. That's the value I chose to use to get the right speed range that I want to have out of this fan that still draws under the rated current. So that's another thing to note, is have an amp meter if you're going to up the value just to see where it's at. So let's see the power factor. Over half. So that's like a good medium right there. And here is high. And this is what I'm talking about, having a high speed that actually flies. You'd want that to actually fly on high. I mean, it's only drawn, it says it's rated for 0.6 amps, but it's drawing about 0.5 amps. So I don't want to go any higher, because then I'm going to have too fast of a low speed. And I mean, this is fast enough. This is pretty good enough for a high speed on a fan like this. So let's see the watts. 41, 42 watts. And about 3/4 of a power factor. But yeah, I have that switch cap. Here's spin down. Don't get much of a breeze off of it to begin with, though, even though I've upped the value. Still, it's more spot cooling and very small room, like a closet or so. Good spin down though. All right. All right, I'm gonna do reverse. So that's why I have it taken apart. Here's low reverse. So I get the same current draw in reverse. But it seems faster in reverse, though. And then, yeah, it does seem fast in reverse, though. But so it might be a different coil than forward. And it draws less on medium in reverse. And here is high. And not much more on high reverse. All right. So yeah, I was going to also say, well, with the decade box, that when I got this fan in Florida, I didn't take it back with me on the plane, so I let my parents bring it back for me when they came back for the summer. So here's the decade box. Let's see where it starts. 1, 2. Oh, looks like it wanted to go on 2. Here's 3. 4. I don't know if the bearings might be slightly stiff. Sometimes that's always the case. You don't really think of it, but they might be just so slightly stiff that they struggle to start. I mean, originally when I ran this on low to see what this did, this is how fast it ran on low, and I find this to be rather ineffective for a 36-inch fan to even do anything air movement wise. So here is 5, and I figured I'm gonna go with this. Yeah, so it seems more like the kind of low speed I'd want for a very little fan. Here's 5, here's 6. It's close to medium. 7. And if I go 8, that I'm already over. I'm already over, or almost, just over a little. There was an inrush. If I go to 9, yeah, I'm over again. Yeah, I'm over. So I really can't use a capacitor-based wall control on this. That's a downside to this, so I am going to go, let's try solid state variable. So far, even though it started at like 1 o'clock on the solid state, I still can't hear anything, so it's really good on the solid state though. I really cannot hear anything at all. All right. Okay. And the last test. 0 to high. Let's see, any little bit of an inrush. But not much. All right. Well, that is all I have for this little CEC Toastmaster type vented spinner. So, yeah, I might show it off again, just to show what I did. But ideally, this is what I'm looking at, is putting in 6 microfarad instead of the 4, because, yeah, it just made everything rather slow. Even though the 6 didn't really draw much more current, the fan runs faster on high. So all the speeds bump up because it only takes one single value capacitor in here. So otherwise, that's all I have for this fan here, and I'll be back with more fans, and hopefully you'll see Reese again with me to do more fans of his as well. So he'll join me in some fan testing. So watch for that, and subscribe, and thanks. And oh, and one more thing I forgot. Fanimation is coming up. Group trip. Yes, group trip is coming up. August 15th on a Saturday, so RSVP with Jeff Doctor. And I'll display that. That's another thing I should talk about. RSVP with him, emailing him, and get your RSVPs in so we can have count of how many people are going. So other than that, yeah, I hope to see you at Fanimation and the Fan Museum, and I'll be back with more fans.